Brigade General Dr. Milan Rastislav Štefánik is one of the most important and influential people in the history of the Slovak nation. He was renowned for his iron will and dedication. His personal motto was to believe, to love, to work. Born in the small village of Košariska in the former Austro-Hungarian Empire, now the Slovak Republic, he was influenced by the revolutionary history of the resistance against the empire. His father was a local Lutheran pastor. After attending schools in Šamorín, Bratislava, Sopron, and Sarvas, now Hungary, he studied astronomy at Karl Ferdinand University, Charles University, in Prague, and spent one semester in Zurich as well. Living in Prague had a great impact on young Štefánik. He became inspired by the idea of cooperation between the Czechs and the Slovaks. He participated in the Slovak student association Detvan and was inspired by the philosophy lectures of Tomáš Garrigue Masaryk, who later became the first president of the First Czechoslovak Republic. Štefánik graduated as a Doctor of Philosophy in 1904. With recommendation from his professor, he went to Meudon, Paris, and joined the Janssen Observatory, the most important center for astronomy at the time. He worked in solar physics and became well known for his spectral analysis of the sun's corona. Between 1905 and 1906, he led 6 astronomical expeditions at Mont Blanc, France. Štefánik, pictured in front, resting during his climb of Mont Blanc. Later, he studied the sun's corona in Alcocebre, Spain, Turkestan, Urachube, Tajikistan, and Brazil. Between 1905 and 1912, he published 12 scientific papers and received several awards from the French Astronomical Society for his scientific work. Unfortunately, in 1907, Jules Janssen died. The Mont Blanc Observatory was closed down, and Štefánik lost his job. One of his goals was to build his own observatory. Subsequently, he built a temporary observatory in Tahiti and modernized one in Quito, Ecuador. He also established a network of meteorological stations in both of these locations. From 1908, he was appointed by the French authorities to oversee astronomical meteorological observations and diplomatic tasks in various countries all over the world. During this time, he visited Algeria, Morocco, Turkestan, Russia, India, the United States, Panama, Brazil, Ecuador, Australia, New Zealand, Tahiti, Fiji, and Tonga. On these missions, he established contacts and friendships with leading scientific, artistic, political, diplomatic, and business people. He also had a passion for photography. In 1912, Štefánik obtained French citizenship. When World War I broke out in 1914, he joined the French army and, per his own request, trained to become an aviator. He flew for the 10th Army and was later transferred to the MFS 99 Squadron on the Serbian front. Upon becoming seriously ill, he was evacuated from Serbia in the autumn of 1915 by the French aviator Louis Paulhan, in what is regarded as the first medical transport by air. For his bravery and heroic contributions, he was awarded many major accolades. Štefánik believed that defeat of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and of Imperial Germany would offer an opportunity for the Slovaks and the Czechs to gain independence from the Austro-Hungarian Empire after the war. Therefore, At the end of 1915, he returned to Paris to meet with Edvard Beneš and his former professor, Masaryk. In 1916, they founded the Czechoslovak National Council, which eventually led to the government of Czechoslovak resistance abroad and to the creation of the First Czechoslovak Republic in 1918. As the vice president of the council, Štefánik devoted much of his effort to diplomacy in the United States, France, Italy, and Russia, and to establishing Czechoslovak Legions and their recognition by Allied powers. Many meetings, negotiations, and agreements preceded the development of Czechoslovak independence. The outcome of many of these key events depended on the exceptional diplomatic capabilities of Milan Rastislav Štefánik. These included a meeting with the Prime Minister of France and an agreement with the Italian government. Štefánik's thank you letter to the French Prime Minister Aristide Briand, explaining the idea of Czechoslovakia after they met on December 22, 1915. The meeting was arranged by Marquise Claire Boas de Jouvenel. Her telegram to Štefánik: Dear friend, Mr. Lamarie awaits you at Frederic Bastille No. 1 to introduce you to Aristide Briand, who will meet you at 9:30. Agreement between the government of Italy and the Czechoslovak National Council in exile, negotiated and signed by M.R. Štefánik on April 21, 1918, in Rome, Italy. The Pittsburgh Agreement, signed on May 31, 1918, is a key document that led to the creation of the First Czechoslovak Republic. It was a political agreement between the Slovak and Czech compatriot organizations in the U.S. and the future Czech-Slovak president, Tomáš G. Masaryk, to bring together both nations as an independent democratic state. This treaty guaranteed Slovaks their own administration, assembly, courts, and Slovak as an official language in schools, workplaces, and public life. The Washington Declaration, also known as the Declaration of Independence of the Czechoslovak nation by its provisional government, was drafted in Washington, D.C., and published by Czechoslovakia's Paris-based provisional government on October 18, 1918. Recruitment for the Czechoslovak Legions abroad was mainly made of volunteers, soldiers, prisoners, and deserters from the Austro-Hungarian army. The first units were created in Russia and France. Štefánik was sent to Russia, Romania, and later Italy to continue recruitment of volunteers. He was able to negotiate the signing of agreements with the governments of Russia and Italy to officially recognize the Czechoslovak Legions. For his military and diplomatic achievements, Štefánik was promoted to the rank of Brigade General of the French Army in 1918. On May 24, 1919, the third anniversary of Italy's entry into World War I was marked by a magnificent celebration in Rome by the monument of Victor Emmanuel II. As vice president of the Czechoslovak National Council in Paris, General Štefánik handed over the flag of the Czechoslovak Legions to the General Graziani, the commander of the Czechoslovak Legions, after receiving it from the Italian Premier Orlando. This momentous gesture signified Italy's official recognition of the First Czechoslovak Republic. Repatriation of the legions to newly established Czechoslovakia. Following the 1917 October Revolution in Russia, the new Russian government signed the Brest-Litovsk Treaty and the Russian Civil War began. Czechoslovak legions were put in a difficult position, and Štefánik was sent to Russia to organize the transport of almost 70,000 soldiers over the Trans-Siberian Railway to Vladivostok and back to Czechoslovakia. Following complicated negotiations, the last transport left Vladivostok in September 1920, 2 years after the war ended. In January 1919, Štefánik left Russia and returned to France. He was appointed as Minister of War in the newly created Czechoslovak government. Legion troops from Italy were transferred to Slovakia to patrol the demarcation line along the border with Hungary. They were under the command of General Luigi Piccioni. A French military mission also began in the Czech territories after January 1919. The head of the mission was General Maurice Pele, and his role was to integrate the existing Czechoslovak foreign legions with the home units of the army and develop a professional command structure. This led to a disagreement between Italian and French military missions. Štefánik was asked to assist in settling this delicate matter. In April 1919, he went from Paris to Rome to negotiate with the Italian Ministry of War and to the main Italian military base in Padua, where he agreed with General Armando Diaz to dissolve the Italian military mission in Czechoslovakia. On May 4, 1919, after visiting his fiancée, Marquis Giuliana Benzoni, he left from Campo Formido by Udine. Shown is the last picture of him alive, just before his flight from Italy. Štefánik is in the middle, surrounded by his crew. He flew back to his newly created homeland to finalize the end of the Italian military mission. The Italian military plane, along with Štefánik on board, tragically crashed in Ivanka pri Dunaju. General Štefánik died, along with the rest of his Italian crew. He was buried on Bradlow Hill in Bresova pod Bradlom with military honors. A monument to celebrate him was finished in 1928, designed by architect Dušan Jurković. On May 4, 2019, the Slovak Republic commemorated the 100th anniversary of the tragic death of the Brigade General Dr. Milan Rastislav Štefánik, and on July 21, 2020, the 140th anniversary of his birth. In consideration of M.R. Štefánik's contribution to the Slovak nation, the government declared the year 2019 as the year of Milan Rastislav Štefánik. Štefánik's belongings are on display at multiple locations of the Slovak National Museum in Martin, Bratislava, and his childhood home in Košariska. The legacy of Milan Rastislav Štefánik. From a poor village boy, he became a respected astronomer, diplomat, and a general of the French army. He laid the foundations of military meteorology for the French Air Force. He was co-founder of the First Czechoslovak Republic in 1918. He played a crucial role in the organization of the Czechoslovak Legions, which became the national army after the establishment of Czechoslovakia.